So these are very common things, and they're not overly complex cause. So this one, endometrial polyp. This one,
The other one was also endometrial polyp, but this
endocervical. That one was endocervical.
endocervical. This is
endometrial.
endometrial.
So here you can see endometrial tissue. In which phase?
Early, because it's round and smooth.
Early? No. Proliferative phase. The first one.
Proliferative phase.
Yeah.
Serrated is late.
Is secretory. Yeah, so start with proliferative.
Proliferative.
Early secretory.
Early.
Late secretory.
So this is proliferative,
Yeah.
smooth and round,
And tubular.
tubular,
Then once you go into secretory, they're all serrated,
serrated,
twisted
twisted.
with secretion.
Okay.
And so these are all just scrapings. So they went into the uterus, scraped it, because she probably had abnormal bleeding. And what they find, or what you find, is you'll see a polypoid fragment of endometrial tissue. So you have to look for one with like 3 sides usually. There's still 2 sides. You have to look for one with 3 sides, or 2 sides on the opposite end. And so this one is probably an endometrial polyp. So you can see lining on multiple sides.
Okay.
That means endometrial polyp. And you can see the glands are just proliferative phase. So all it is endometrial polyp, proliferative phase. And mostly it's just benign, but it's still considered neoplasm. It causes abnormal bleeding, so that's why they go to the doctor. And once they diagnose it, an ultrasound, they go in with a hysteroscopy, put in a camera and a curette.
And then scrape.
Yeah, they just scrape the lining, remove the polyp, and it's cured. And cured, the endometrium will grow back. Just give them estrogen, and it's fine. So here, like, the glands are okay. They're not really abnormal. But the stroma is kind of thicker. But it's
So
still,
the main problem with this one is bleeding.
yeah,
It causes a lot of bleeding.
yeah,
But once you remove this polyp, then it should go back to normal.
yeah.
How big is usually is the polyp?
It can be any size. It can be very tiny. But if it's tiny, it won't cause bleeding. But if it's big, it'll probably cause bleeding.
So in order for them to identify where is the polyp, they have to do ultrasound first,
Yeah. Usually you do ultrasound first.
and then
to
go
see
in there and
what's
scrape.
inside.
Okay. Anything else though?
No, not really. Just know which phase it is, and that's all.
So proliferative phase, endometrial,
Yeah. Endometrial polyp.
endometrial polyp, proliferative phase,
Yeah. Lined by endometrial glands. The
Lined
other one is
by-
endocervical polyp with endocervical glands.
lined by endometrial glands.
This one is endometrial polyp, endometrial glands, endocervical polyp, endocervical glands.
Okay.